I don't want to coexist. Not like good guys and bad guys and true lies and propaganda. Put on black faces, cab drivers or deli owners in your racist comedies. Not bomb your Dunkin' Donuts with my kafia, fist pound Fox News, or let you steal my food and call it Israeli salad. I won't mess with a Zohan, or let him turn the rocks of Palestinian children into balloon animals, while Israeli soldiers snipe our children's heads, shoulders, knees, and stomachs. Hollywood snipes ears of young ones with lovable tales of blue and white heroes. I'm not looking for your approval, not a token role or job on my knees scrubbing toilets in Israel's Congress. I'd rather fight with blacks and Latinos against oppression than concede to a mainstream plantation that sees me as other unless I'm checking a college application. I don't believe in the tooth fairy or 2,000 claims of homes you supposedly deserve when people resurrected and walked on water. All exist in a world that fights against racism like Martin and Malcolm, bleeds ghetto tales of Stephen Biko as a song that never dies no matter what apartheid makes of our bodies, feeds mouths in Belfast streets and resurrects Bobby Sands' message so that we'll never be hungry again. And whether you know it or not, I'm the best solution you have. One man asking for one vote, telling you to look at the sea, and it will never drive you into it. I'll never return the favor. I'm not outstretching an olive branch and a rifle. I'm extending reality, because being surrounded by so-called enemies on your borders is easier than in your towns and election centers. We may not be brothers, but this neighborhood has made us cousins. I don't want to coexist. I want to exist as a human being, and justice will take care of the rest. I'm disgusted by terrorism. Backwards animals who have no value for human life produce propaganda videos to disseminate their message, prey on the weakest in society, infect children, recruit fighters like expendable ants in their ideological struggle. You know who I'm talking about. Soldiers who drop bunker-busting bombs on mosques and university, decry the Middle East but follow authority closer than dictatorial rule, think stripes and codes rather than decency and humanity give them worth in this world. I've seen one too many Facebook invites by jingoistic kids I went to high school with, couldn't wait to get in some trigger time, hunt down towel heads and hajis like venison. And when some Marines grenade launcher catapulted 120 mini bombs per minute, took out 17 houses and 14 schoolgirls, I'm supposed to feel bad that he can't see his wife and daughter on Christmas. I'm supposed to feel bad that he can't see his wife and daughter on Christmas. While the people will never see, he's destroyed a number of people who will never see Eid. We're so quick to honor our troops, but don't dare mention the widows, the trembling father crying, immersed in his wife's charred flesh, a fetus blown out of her stomach. The soldier said kicking down the door was too risky. Where's the honor for the 25-year-old Iraqi man whose car was riddled with American-made bullets, pained face and surprised look like grabbing for sky, falling out of 110-story towers? As long as we don't affect our interests, we'll shout out Darfur, Rwanda, and the need for antiretrovirals. Look at people as aid packages that can't compete rather than ravage lands perfecting paradigms of imperialism and propaganda. Where's that right-wing Zionist trying to save the Congo, combat Lev Leviav in Angola, genocide in northern Uganda? Where's the humanity before the machetes are raised and proxy forces put into place? King, Mandela, and Gandhi aren't meant to be easily referenced platitudes to make you feel better at night. Help you forget that uncomfortable poem Americans don't want to face. Will worship American idols but have no value for human life. And yet all I hear are 20-somethings telling me they just aren't into politics. I wonder what they'd say at their parents' eulogy after they were blown up into 323 different pieces. I'm sure they wouldn't discuss things, because politics isn't their thing. Politics isn't our thing. While we reach out for freedom and justice, we're defined as political to undermine our suffering, create notion of two sides in equal conflict, cover up our dispossession and burnt down villages. We're political so you can ignore us, delegitimize and forget us. We're human beings coming through the window reflecting stillborn images. We're voices chiming in choirs and temples. We're life that won't be forgotten. We're here and won't go away. We're the world's shiver. It's cold out here. And whether you like it or not, we are coming inside. And I'm going to just rush through and close with this piece. Oh, I forgot to say, that was the first time I ever did the poem, unless you count badly in the shower, so I didn't know all the words. I tried to get through it though. This last piece, unfortunately, I've been writing a lot more political stuff. The fight for Gaza, the fight for Palestine doesn't stop when they stop killing people daily in numbers of 1,400 over 22 days. You know, the fight to stop the next 1,400 is today. And it's why I know the economy is bad, but we have to keep opening our hearts and wallets and donate to Viva Palestina and donate to these initiatives and keep educating people politically within our community. This last poem is a poem I wrote after Israeli Apartheid Week on a panel for cultural boycott. This one I call my angry piece. Every time I think of 9/11, I see burning flesh dripping off the bones of Iraqi children in Fallujah. Now Gaza. I tend to memorialize the forgotten, the eclipsing collateral damage of our unpunished crimes, and maybe it's because I'm a numbers guy. Because if I had $1 for every time an Iraqi died since 2003, I'd be a millionaire. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I don't know who to hate more. The governments in the West or the politicians in the East who sell their souls quicker than the oil they export. Strong men who use Palestine as a tool to line their pockets and don't give a nickel to their people. Quisling governments who stitch mouths shut for a check from Washington and APEC. How can you be their prototypical anti-Semite if you're signing peace accords to oppress your own people? And then Orientalists and idiots want to talk about how we can't have democracy in the Middle East because of what happened in Gaza. A Hamas boogeyman wrapped in democratic elections. Rahm Emanuel wants to educate me and my people about democracy gone wrong. Why doesn't he try implementing one in Israel first, instead of bowing down to terrorists like his father in the IDF, lauding a third-rate racist European society that's imploding quicker than its moral standing in the world, enlightened like 1950s Afrikaners and slave traders? Just because a house is beautiful doesn't mean the bones you built it on have fully decomposed. The so-called Israeli left is about as alive as Ariel Sharon. I'm sick and tired of asking for permission to resist from antiquated leftists and progressives. Who care more about keeping it kosher than moving things forward. I put down my pen and waving fist to resist with college kids and Palestinians. Boycott and divest, because who cares about preserving a living when governments are killing civilians? Complicity by silence and reserved units bombing Gaza. Your academics and scholars, theater groups and practitioners are part of the problem. And if that doesn't fit into your long-term plan of rejecting my right to return, I'm sorry. Maybe one day you'll return to reality where my people have babies quicker than Zionists can concoct Jordanian options. I'm not looking for your sympathy. Or introspective confessions. Won't sit on my hands so they lose oxygen like the people of Balad and Rafah. Vote for Barack Obama and pretend that his 22 days of silence was golden, while emaciated children starve to death surrounded by their parents' corpses. This can't be America the Beautiful. A criminal with a few positive attributes doesn't alleviate genocide. Bombing Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Iraq doesn't make you historic. It makes you as blind and bloodthirsty as the white men that came before you. Apathetic hipsters now excited about a president who broke history but not poverty, occupation, or corporate interests. I'd rather proudly walk through the graveyards of peace accords and failed dialogue sessions than keep seeing my people just as occupied or third-class citizens. We are the gavel that'll slam down like a verdict. We're not waiting for Israel, America, the Supreme Court to approve it. We'll boycott Lev Levi, Caterpillar, and your apartheid companies. We're taking back the right of return and keys to a country because we never asked you to go back to Europe or sit in open-air prisons. I'm not asking for your advice. I'm explaining the decision. You can stay here with us, but only as equals. It's not that you're Israeli. It's that you're wrong. That's why I fight for my people.